see what it's got. So I'm just have a quick wander through now on my way home, have another look, give people a chance on here on Haps and other platforms to see the reserve and talk about how, if you're around and want to come and see this place yourself, what the opportunities are. We've got another couple of open days coming up, so let me turn the camera around. There we go. And we'll just wander from here into the reserve. So we had we sold about 750 tickets for people to come and see us today. Don't know how many of them turned up, but it's a fairly decent number of people took the opportunity of a lovely spring day to come and visit our patch of ancient woodland here. I did a little broadcast earlier on this morning as we were getting ready to start. Do another one now as we've finished. This is Perivale Wood. It's in Perivale in northwest of London, and it's a little bit of ancient woodland. It's been looked after by the Selborne Society for a good many years now, managed for nature. And at this time of year we have these wonderful carpets of bluebells, the native bluebell carpeting the floor here, and it's looking really attractive. We take opportunity at this time when the wood's got this really special appearance to encourage people to come here and see us and visit. And if you want to come and see the reserve, there's a few options. We've got another couple of public open days, one on Tuesday coming up and one next Saturday, a week tomorrow. And on those days there's opportunity for anybody who wants to, who can buy a ticket at a very reasonable price and come here and have a good day visiting this lovely reserve. Other ways people can get access if you wish to join the organisation that runs it, that's the Selborne Society, Selborne Society. If you want to join that, members of the society have lots of opportunities to visit. And as you start to get more involved, as I've done, I'm here nearly all the time, it seems. So this is just wandering further into our reserve. And if you are interested in any of those opportunities to come and see this place, so we're here in northwest London, we're dead easy to get to on public transport. If you search online for either Selborne Society or Perivale Wood, you'll find us and you'll find how you can arrange to be able to come here and see the place. A couple of our other volunteers up there, they probably don't want to be on broadcast, so I'll go another way. But the team worked very hard today, looking after all our visitors, making sure everybody had a good, pleasant day, making them teas and coffees and selling them cakes and all sorts of other exciting things. I'm just going to cut through here, so this is my cut through on my way home, so I thought I'd do a quick end of the day broadcast for you. Yeah, the ringneck parakeet's shouting very loudly up there. There's absolutely loads of our bluebells. These are the native bluebell, which you can tell because the bells here, come around that way, all on one, basically droop down on one side of the stem, and the pollen is yellow, and the sort of structure, the quite delicate structure of the bell with the very curved back petals, all indicate this is the native British bluebell. And well, yes, there are lots of them. Green woodpecker laughing away there, that sort of vaguely maniacal laugh that you may have heard was a green woodpecker. There's another of the oddly coloured varieties of the bluebell. Mainly white with some subtle bits of purpling on it in places. So there are some interesting colour varieties that occur within the bluebells. Oh, they're pretty anyway. I mean, you can tell there have been people through today. You can see just along the edges of the path, not maliciously but unavoidably, a little bit of trampling. And of course, that's partly how these paths are kept, well, entirely how these paths are kept open, that each year the plants, the bluebells, try to grow a little bit and take a little bit of this bare soil back. And each year we have people walking and it keeps the paths bare. Shows how trampling sensitive these plants are, of course. It's one of the reasons why we don't have very many days. We are not generally open to the public here, and part of the logic of that is just this, that if we had people here walking every day, it's a lovely place, people would want to, but the pressure was more significant. There's a buff-tailed bumblebee visiting one of the bluebells. Come down here. Seems quite content collecting the nectar there. Not at all bothered about appearing on broadcast. There we go. Buff-tailed bumblebee, Bombus terrestris. I do find the light gets a little bit lower, the woodland looks a lot better. The purple blueness of the plants just seems to lift off in sort of early morning and late evenings. It can be really almost like a mist of blue. Middle of the day when it's bright sunshine, I find it's still lovely, but I find it a little bit less impressive. So this is getting more to the time I like to be here, at least during the day. We do spend a lot of night times down here. If people have watched some of my moth related broadcasts will know. Anyway, just going a bit further through the reserve. And, yeah, weird things like this little odd bare patch. Not really clear why. It's not a path, it's not going anywhere. It just always seems to be bare. Maybe it's self-fulfilling. It was a little bit bare once, so it's a place people go to have a little bit of a look further in and tramples it down. It's like a weird feature. And of course, one of the things you can sometimes see in woods by features like that is bits of archaeology or bits of hint of what's been here in the past. little relics of stuff that were done hundreds or thousands of years ago that have changed some feature that just show up in the plants, show up in the structure. No idea what that is. And you can see we've got a lot of signage up. We don't usually have a lot of signage up in here. This is something we do just for the public open days. As a way of just, when you've got that many people, you can't really talk to everyone. You can't really do that. But as a natural history educational charity, we are, our job, our reason we are a charity is partly to do with education. So it's a good way of getting some information to people. On other occasions, when we've got much smaller numbers, when we have our members' days and things like that, we are more actively engaged, talking, explaining things to people ourselves. But for open day, lots of signage, and several of us around sharing their knowledge of the reserve and its wildlife. Yeah, we'll go over here today. Cut our way through the section. This is a path that will be off the track we send people around today. Lots of noise from those parakeets now. Some quite nice white flowers there of wild garlic. Had a look at another clump of wild garlic that wasn't as in flower in a broadcast I did earlier. But those white flowers there, I'll reach in, I'll not walk over and crunch the bluebells, I do it, but I'll just reach over by hand. In the onion family, of course. Another plant that has a bit of an association with ancient woodland. There's some suggestion that the ones here may have been planted, may have been introduced by people, because it's also a plant that people like to forage and harvest. So we'll wander up from here towards the canal gate, and I'm going to sign off when I get there and make my way home. Got a nice bottle of wine chilling in the fridge. It's a nice warm day. It needs a cooling white wine, I feel, for the evening. So when I get to the canal gate here, find a nice view to end on, and I'll sign off and start to head home. Anyway, it's been a successful first of our open days. So if you want to come and visit Perivale Wood, if you look up either Selborne Society, that's Selborne Society, or Perivale Wood, Perivale Wood, on the internet, you'll find our website. You'll find out about our public open days. You'll find out about becoming a member of the society, which will allow you to have access to other occasions and lots of opportunities. And you can find out about various bits of the work we do managing this place and supporting research and education into natural history. So there we go. We'll just wander up here. This is the Grand Union Canal just outside our gate here. And what we'll do is we'll end here just looking, maybe looking at just one little clump of bluebells perhaps. Actually, these ones are interesting. I was going to stop, but just mention. So these bluebells are probably not our native bluebell. These are probably the hybrid with the Spanish bluebell. And comparing to what we were looking at before, you can see the bells come out of several sides of the stem. They're more upright, less droopy. The petals curve over a bit, but not as much. And the pollen, the stamens are blue rather than yellow. So this is interesting. This is a hybrid between the native bluebell that we've been looking at and the Spanish bluebell, which is grown as a garden plant. And they do hybridize. The Spanish bluebell doesn't really survive very well outside of gardens, but this hybrid with the native bluebell does. Typically really on the margins rather than into the dense wood itself. So yeah, that was interesting to see that contrast. And then yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll just sign off here, just looking down the path back into the reserve, back into some of the blue. That's a nice scene to end on. So anyway, that was our first of our open days completed. 2 more to go, as well as some days for members, some days for our neighbours and so on. So